Okay guys, I just want to talk to you a little bit today about how I run my XP Deus when I'm out in the field. The key to me is I've got several similar programs that I run together, and let me just explain those to you first. So the first program I have in my slot 14, it's Relic Rescue Crew 4, RRC 4 I call it, and it's a 4 kHz program. I find that 4 kHz does help me identify iron quite well, so that's why I have that in there. But I do find that frequency, the 4 kHz frequency, is quite prone to get into me EMI for overhead power lines, etc. So if the conditions allow it, and you want fancy a 4 kHz program, then I have it there. The next one I run, this is my basic everyday standard hunting program. My Relic Rescue program, it's the 12 kHz program. I find it very stable generally. Sometimes I get a little bit of EMI if the conditions, just as such that it interferes on a 4 kHz. But generally very stable, very active, and I do well out of it. Then I have an 18 kHz program. This I generally only use if I find the conditions are really tough out there and I'm getting a lot of the EMI, then I'll pop it into this program. Still very good, yep, it performs very well. And then my final program that I run is the Relic Rescue Crew Fast, RRC Fast, which is based off the Deus Fast program. I use this in iron. It's really active. It's like the regular fast program with my own tweaks in there. So let me go through and I'll show you a couple of these programs and how I set it up. So let me go through and I'll start with the basic one that I use, the Relic Rescue menu. So I run in zero discrimination. I like to hear everything that's in the ground. And I've read in numerous places that discrimination does affect the depth of this machine. So I like to run it at 0. It allows me to hear everything without losing any performance. To run at 0 discrimination, you have to have your tone set right. Now, a lot of people that run in 0 discrimination use full tones. I've tried full tones. I just really can't get on very well with it. I struggle personally to distinguish the difference between iron and a low conductive signal. Maybe if I persevered more with it, I might like it, but it's not something that I really use. Let's go to the expert settings here. I run at 5 tones, and let me explain why I run at 5 tones. Now, this is something I picked up off a guy called Jim Burrell from one of the groups, and it's not my invention, and I'm not going to take credit for it. But Jim set up a system which enables you to run your machine in such a way that you can run with 0 discrimination and set the tones so that iron will give you that iron buzz even in 0 discrimination. And this is how he does that. He sets the first tone and the second tone to whichever you choose as your lowest iron tone. I choose 100 as the breakpoint on this one. There and there. So in effect, those first 2 tones are the same. But I have the breakpoint at 0 because I'm running 0 discrimination. Next is my mid tone, or my low conductive tone, should I say. And I run the iron up to 28. So anything below 28 will give me that really low conductive tone, which is the lowest. Actually, 100 is the lowest tone that the Deus has, and it enables me to hear with the iron in the ground. So between 28 and 60, I get that medium or to low conductive tone, and I run that at 496. 600 is what I run the next tone at, and that between 60 and 80. So my more conductive items, I'll get that kind of nice medium tone. It's a good tone. and then I run my high tone, my really high tone at 800, which I believe is, again, the highest tone that the Deus has. And anything above 80 on the VDI would give me that tone. You can set all these up to however you like. It's just using Jim's trick to put these two low at 0 enables you to hear that iron in there. So I don't know if I've explained that very well. These are the tonal breakpoints: 28, 60, 80, and then we're back again. So running 5 tones with these 2 tones set very, very low enables me to hear the iron in the ground. I hope I've explained that right. Okay, let's come back out to that. So next I go down sensitivity. Now I find sensitivity is really key with the Deus. The higher you have it, the better performing it will be, but it can become unstable. So what I do, I set my programs at 99, and if I can run them close to 99, then great, then I will. But most of the time, you're going to have to do adjustments in the field. These are only your starting points. This program is a good starting point, but it's going to have to be based on your own conditions. So I start at 99, and if I can run it at 99 or close to 99, then perfect. Then I know I'm going to get good performance. However, sometimes you can't. So you're going to have to take that down a little bit. But sensitivity makes a huge difference when you run the Deus. The expert setting there is TX power. I run that at 3, which is the highest. Again, everywhere I read, that gives you a little bit better performance. Whether it's a big mark performance, I don't know. But how I run it, and I run it at 3, and I find that works for me. Frequency, this particular one is 11.6. As I say, I've got my low one for iron and my higher one if I'm getting interference, but this is my good everyday hunting one, and I think 8 would work quite well, but 8 again is quite prone to some interference there. Iron volume doesn't really matter on this program, and that's because of the way the tones are set up. Those first 2 tones are set the same, so you could have that pretty much what you want. It wouldn't make a difference. Reactivity. This one is a slower program, so I do need to work quite slowly with this. Reactivity is 1. 1 will get you pretty good depth. Reactivity is one of those settings that does make a difference with the depth of your machine. The higher the settings, you do lose a little bit. And this goes hand in hand with the silencer. I have the silencer up at -1. Again, it makes a difference with the depth. I've done a lot of testing myself, and I've seen other people testing it, and that just works. It's the case. So I run that at -1 and that at 1. If I'm working amongst iron, then that's not going to be any good. I'm going to need to change that. Audio response 5 doesn't work for everybody, but I like the tones to scream out. I mean, I like that audio response higher, and that's why I run it at 5. More than that, it might be a little bit too much. Less than that, it will give you more of a perception of depth if you run it about 3-ish. So the faint tones will be very deep, and the louder tones will be generally shallow. This does that too, but it generally makes everything quite loud. So, but I like that, and it enables me not to miss anything. Audio overload, I just leave that at 1. Notch, I don't use notch, and then it brings me back to the discrimination. So that's how I set up that program. My other programs, they're pretty much exactly the same. I run them all the same. I just changed the frequency on that one. Yeah, 18, same. I run it exactly the same. All the other settings are identical. My tonal breakpoints and my 0 discrimination is all the same. My sensitivity is way up at 99. Everything's the same apart from the frequency. Now this is where it's a little different. My Relic Rescue Crew Fast. I run it how the Deus Fast program runs, apart from a couple of things. I run in 0 discrimination, and I set my tonal breakpoints at 5 tones, and these breakpoints exactly how I run my other programs. So I get some consistency there. And sensitivity, again, I whack this up to 99. And if I can hunt at 99 or close to 99, then great. Otherwise, I'll bring it down a little bit. But the other settings on here, you're going to be the same as the Deus Fast. Reactivity and silence. So that's all as per the Deus Fast program, because it's a really good program. I just thought if I made my own tweaks to it, I can get a little bit more performance, and I believe I can. Audio response, again, I like that at 5. It just enables me not to miss anything. So that's how I run mine. Generally, I hope I've explained it okay to you. Generally, I run in this one, the 12 kilohertz program, my just basic Relic rescue program. If it gets a bit too much with background noise, etc., then I'll whack it up to the 18 kilohertz, and that normally settles everything down. It still gets decent performance. And when I'm out there, if I get into iron, then I slow my searching down and I put it into Deus Fast, and that enables me a nice high reactive program to really work in amongst that iron. Now, I hope that helps. Please, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm not saying that this is the best way to set up your Deus. I'm just saying that this is how I set up my Deus, and it does work for me. My conditions allow it. It's a good starting point, and whenever you get into a field, they're all going to be slightly different. Make sure you ground balance, make sure you switch it on correctly, get the coil off the ground, get out there, do your ground balancing, and just see what the ground is allowing you to do. If you can run high sensitivity, then do that, go for it. If you can't, then bring it down a little bit. The other settings are all the same on each of the programs. It's the kilohertz that changes, and then when I get to the fast one, it's some of the other parameters are different as well based on the regular fast program. So there you go, guys. You have any questions, then please ask me. Please don't think I'm telling you how to run your machine and that this is the best program out there. It's not, maybe. It's just how I like to run mine, and it works for me. Actually, guys, I just want to show you something else. I want to show you the reactivity in use in my program here. There we go. Reactivity 1, and my silence is -1. I'll show you that. Right, put this away. Okay, so what I've done, I've got just an old copper, a British copper coin there. Couple of pieces of iron and stuff next to it. I just want to show you that I don't think I'm losing a lot by running reactivity where I do. Just amongst iron, you can still hear the iron go slow. But I also hear the coin, and I can go real fast as well. And you see the iron is like right there. Let's see if I put the iron on top of it, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, I'm still hearing that. I just want to show you just how fast the Deus is, even in the slower reactivity settings. Let me move around here so I don't get in the light. Alright, so here's my coin, there's a Deus. Hear that? You can hear each time I'm moving it across. And this is in a slow reactivity. Imagine what you can do when you're running in that Deus Fast program, eh? So there we go. That's just I want to demonstrate that even with the slower reactivity, you're gonna get good speeds. Throw some iron in there. They're just an inch apart. You're gonna get it. You're coming away from the coil. I'm probably 10 inches away up here. There we go, that's the Deus. That's how I run it anyway. Thanks a lot, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, bye.